Hello students, in this video we are going to learn division of a decimal number by a whole number where the dividend is a decimal number. Let's start with example 1. Set up and calculate 17.32 divided by 4. Let's remember 17.32 is the dividend and 4 is the divisor. And when you set up a division, you place the dividend to the right and the divisor to the left. So 17.32 is to the right and 4 is placed to the left. So let's start the division. So we start first by taking 17. 17 is in the whole part. 17 is not multiple of 4. We have 4 times 4 equals 16. So we write 4 in the quotient. And the remainder here, 7 minus 6, is equal to 1. Now we need to slide the 3. But attention, when you slide the 10th digit 3 here, it means the first digit after the decimal point, you place a decimal point in the quotient before you continue the division. So here we need to place a decimal point in the quotient before we slide the 3. We obtain 13. 13 is not multiple of 4. We have 12. And 4 times 3 equals 12. And the remainder, 3 minus 2 is 1. And 1 minus 1 equals 0. Now we still have one digit, the 2. We slide it. We obtain 12. 12 is a multiple of 4. And 4 times 3 equals 12. And the remainder is 0. When the remainder of a division is 0, we call the quotient an exact quotient. This year we are only going to learn divisions that will end and where the quotient is exact. Next year we will learn divisions that will never end. And 17.32 divided by 4 equals 4.33. Let's continue with example 2. Set up and calculate 823.56 divided by 24. So we write 823.56 to the right and 24 to the left. So let's start. 8 is less than 24. We take 82. Here the divisor is a 2-digit number. So let's estimate the quotient by hiding the ones digit in 82 and the ones digit in 24. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So my estimated quotient is 4. But of course, we don't write 4 immediately. We need to check if my estimated quotient 4 is correct by multiplying the divisor 24 by 4 on a scratch paper. 4 times 4 equals 16. I write 6, I carry 1. 4 times 2, 8 plus 1, it's 9. 96 is greater than 82, so 4 is incorrect. So I try the number just before, which is 3. 24 times 3, 3 times 4, 12. I write 2, I carry 1. 3 times 2, 6, plus 1, 7. 72 is less than 82, so it's correct. So, and 24 times 3, it's 72. I write 72. And don't forget to write 3 in the quotient before finding the remainder. 2 minus 2 is 0, and 8 minus 7, it's 1. Now I slide the 3. 3 is still in the whole part, so I don't place a decimal point yet. Be careful. 103 divided by 24. To estimate the quotient, I hide the ones digit in 24 and 103. 10 divided by 2 is 5, so my estimated quotient is 5. So I multiply 24 times 5. 5 times 4, 20. 0, I carry 2. 5 times 2, 10 plus 2, 12. 120 is greater than 103, so it's wrong. So I try the 4, but we already did it. It's 96. It's less than 103, so it's correct. And 24 times 4, it's 96. I write 4 in the quotient. Now I find the remainder. 3 minus 6. 3 is less than 6, so I borrow from 10. The 10 becomes 9. 13 minus 6 is 7. And 9 minus 9, it's 0. So 7 is the remainder. Now I need to slide the 5. But 5, here be careful, is the 10th digit. It's the first digit after the point. So I need to place a decimal point in the quotient before I slide the 5. Once I slide the 5, I obtain 75. Now let's estimate the quotient. I hide the ones digit in each number. 7 divided by 2 is 3. 3 is already done. 24 times 3 is 72. It's less than 75. And 24 times 3, it's 72. And the remainder here is 5 minus 2, 3. 7 minus 7 is 0. Now I slide the 6. I obtain 36. Now let's estimate the quotient. 3 divided by 2, it's 1. And 24 times 1 is 24. And I write 1 in the quotient. 36 minus 24, it's 12. Now the remainder is not 0 yet, so I need to add a 0 in the dividend. Then I slide it. I obtain 120. Here I notice that 120 is a multiple of 24. I write 120, and 24 times 5, I write 5 in the quotient, is equal to 120, and the remainder is 0, and my division has ended. It's an exact quotient. And 823.56 divided by 24 equals 34.315. Now let's continue with the final example, example 3. Set up and calculate 23.14 divided by 65. So 23.15 is the dividend. I place it to the right, and 65 to the left is the divisor. Here we notice that 23.14 is less than 25 because the whole part 23 is less than the divisor 65. So I take the 23 first, but remark, when the whole part of the dividend, which is here a decimal number, is less than the divisor, 23 is less than 65, we start by placing a 0 in the quotient before we continue the division. So 23 divided by 65, it's 0, so I write 0 in the quotient, and I do minus 0, and I obtain the number itself, 23. Now I need to slide the 1, but before I do, since 1 is the 10th digit, I need to place a decimal point in the quotient. Now I slide the 1, I obtain 231. Let's estimate the quotient of the division of 231 by 65. I hide the ones in 231 and the ones in 65. 23 divided by 6, it's almost 3. 6 times 3, 18. Let's check, verify if 3 is the correct quotient. I multiply 65 by 3 on the scratch paper. 3 times 5, 15. I write 5, I carry 1. 3 times 6 is 18 plus 1, 19. 195 is less than 231, so it's correct. 3 is correct. I write 3 in the quotient. Now let's find the remainder. 1 is less than 5. I borrow from 3, becomes 2. 11 minus 5, it's 6. 2 minus 9, 2, it's less than 9. I borrow from 2, becomes 1. And the 2 becomes 12. Minus 9 is 3. And here we obtain 0. Now I slide the 4. I obtain 364. Let's estimate the quotient. I hide the 4, the ones digit here, and the ones digit here. 36 divided by 6, it's 6. So let's multiply 65 by 6 on the scratch paper. 6 times 5 is 30. I write 0. I carry 3. 6 times 6, 36 plus 3, it's 39. And we obtain 390 is greater than 364. So it's wrong. So I try the number 5. 65 times 5. 5 times 5, 25, I carry 2, 5 times 6, 30 plus 2, I obtain 32, and 325 is less than 364, so I write 325, and 65 times 5 is 365, 25, I write 5 in the quotient. Now let's find the remainder. 4 is less than 9, I borrow from 6, becomes 5, 14 minus 5, it's 9, 5 minus 2 is 3, and 3 minus 3, it's 0. Now the remainder is not 0 yet, so I need to add a 0 in the dividend, and I slide it. I obtain 390, but here we notice that 390 is a multiple of 65, so I write 390, and 65 times 6 is 390. I write 6 in the quotient before I find the remainder. which is 0, and we have an exact quotient. 23.14 divided by 65 equals 0.365. So here be careful, when the dividend is less than the divisor, it means when the whole part of the dividend, when it's a decimal number, is less than the divisor, we start by placing a 0 in the quotient, then we continue the division. So this is the end of this video. Thank you for watching.